You eat well. You've tried the fasts, you've said no to sugar, and yes to kale. But some mornings, your skin feels dull. Your thoughts take longer to land. And deep down, your body still feels full of yesterday. What if the missing fix wasn't about stopping what you eat, but feeding something your cells have forgotten? Hi, I'm Mark, your strength and story coach at Healthy Aging Hub. There's a process inside you that clears the clutter, sweeps the old, and makes room for something lighter. It's called autophagy, a cellular spring cleaning. Most say it only works when you fast. But that's not the whole story. Because after 60, your body doesn't just need emptiness. It needs reminders. It needs the kind of food that says, let's begin again. In this video, I'll show you 3 foods that quietly restart that renewal. No hunger, no harsh rules. Just nourishment that remembers what healing feels like. Lot 1. The symptom as memory. She hadn't changed her routine, still walked each morning, still made her soup from scratch, still took her vitamins. But something had shifted, quietly. The sparkle in her skin faded. Her thoughts, once crisp, began arriving in slow motion. And by mid-afternoon, she felt heavy, without cause. Not tired from effort, just unfinished. She told herself it was normal. Her doctor nodded politely. Part of aging, he said. Nothing serious. But she knew her body too well, and it was trying to speak. We often think illness comes with alarms, pain, fever, disruption. But what if the body speaks through fog, not fire? What if the first signs are subtle, a sense that meals sit longer than they should, that the mirror has gone quiet, that energy no longer returns the way it used to? That's not drama, that's residue. Because deep inside each cell, there's a process designed to tidy up, to sweep, to repair, to recycle. It's called autophagy, a word that simply means self-eating. But what it really means is this: your body knows how to let go of what's no longer needed. Old proteins, damaged parts, cellular clutter. It just needs the signal to begin. Fasting sends that signal, but so can food, the right kind, not with volume, but with memory, not to fill, but to remind. Because after 60, your cells don't just want nutrients, they want clarity, and they're waiting for you to feed them the language of release. This is why she didn't feel sick, only stuck. Her cleanup crew wasn't broken, just forgotten. And that's the quiet miracle of autophagy. It never leaves, it just waits for one sign that it's time to begin again. 2. Pineapple, the enzyme that clears you from within. Her daughter brought her pineapple slices one afternoon. Cold, fresh, just sweet enough. She hadn't tasted it in years, said it was too sugary, said it was not for her age anymore. But that bite, it landed like memory. What she didn't know was that beneath that golden sweetness was a quiet healer. Bromelain, an enzyme tucked within the fibers of pineapple, isn't there to entertain your taste buds. It's there to remind your body how to clean. Not with scrubbing, not with stress, but with cellular permission. In 2022, researchers found something remarkable. Bromelain could activate autophagy in the arteries, not in a vague way, in a measurable, cleansing way. It helped remove the plaque left behind by years of sugar, stress, stillness, not by force, but by direction, like rain knowing where the gutter is, like a broom finding its rhythm. And it doesn't stop at the heart. That same enzyme travels to your skin, to your liver, to places you can't see, but feel. Autophagy, once sparked, begins restoring your skin's texture from the inside out. Not just softening wrinkles, but replacing tired cells with new, responsive ones. Your reflection may not shout it, but it will begin to whisper, "I feel lighter." And that's what happened to her. She didn't start a new routine. She didn't give up bread. She just added a few bites of fresh pineapple a few times a week. And slowly, her morning puffiness faded. Her fingers felt less stiff. Even her breath, more open. This isn't about fruit. It's about remembering that food can be language. And bromelain might be one of the clearest signals your body understands. It's safe now. You can let go. 3. Turmeric, the spice that lights the mind. Her name was Evelyn, 74, bright, sharp. At least she used to be. Lately, her mornings had become blurred. She forgot why she walked into rooms. She'd reach for a name, and it wouldn't come. She still laughed. But the laughter felt slower. She wasn't sick, just a little more distant from herself. That's what scared her most. It wasn't about memory. It was about presence. She felt like she was slipping out of her own skin. So she did what she'd always done. She brewed her tea, sat by the window, waited for clarity. What she didn't expect was that the clarity wouldn't come from time, but from a spice. Turmeric, golden, earthy, unassuming. But inside it, a compound called curcumin, with a job far deeper than most imagine. Not just anti-inflammatory, not just good for joints. It whispers to your mitochondria, the batteries inside every cell, and says, wake up, clean house, begin again. Science calls it autophagy, but the body calls it memory repair. Because when your mitochondria are tired, you don't just feel weak, you feel dimmed. That's what Evelyn felt, dimmed. Until she started adding just a quarter teaspoon of turmeric, cracked black pepper stirred in. Nothing big, nothing forced, just a soft addition to her soup or warm water in the afternoon. And after a few days, the morning fog began to lift. Not dramatically, not all at once, but like light returning to a forgotten room. She called it her lantern tea, because it helped her feel lit from within. That's the truth about identity. It doesn't fade because of age. It fades when your cells stop reflecting who you are. And curcumin, when taken with care, with rhythm, with warmth, can quietly begin the return. Not to who you were, but to the self you still are. The one who just needs a little more light to stand fully again. 4. Green tea, a gentle cup of renewal. His son brought him a small jade-colored cup. Steam rising, no sweetener, just warmth, and the earthy scent of something ancient. Green tea. He'd seen it on shelves his whole life, but never given it more than a passing thought. Coffee had been his ritual, coffee for energy, for a sense of doing, for waking up to the day. But coffee is a drumbeat. Green tea is a bell. He took a sip. No jolt. Just a slow wave. Something like peace moving from his tongue to his fingertips. He didn't know the science, but his body did. Inside that humble cup was EGCG, a molecule that doesn't push, but persuades. A polyphenol that whispers, it's time to clear out what's old. Researchers have watched EGCG activate autophagy inside the brain, not by erasing, but by making space. It sweeps through the neural cobwebs, clearing what no longer serves, leaving behind the bright edges of new thought. He noticed it first not in his mind, but in his afternoons. Less heaviness behind the eyes, less fog, a steadier kind of focus that felt more like clarity than stimulation. Green tea doesn't fight for your attention. It invites you to return to a slower, deeper rhythm where your cells can listen. He kept the ritual simple, a cup after lunch, alone, without distraction. He didn't measure results. He noticed sensation, a gentle unwinding in his gut, a sense of being less crowded on the inside. This is the quiet test. You don't have to overhaul your life. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Just one small decision to add a new story to your day. A mythic pause where the body can remember how to release what it's carried for too long. Not all renewal is dramatic. Sometimes it's just the quiet space after a sip, when you realize you feel more alive than you did a moment ago. You didn't need someone to fix you. You needed someone to remind you. Your body still knows how to renew. Autophagy isn't new. It's ancient. It's the body's way of bowing to itself, sweeping the corners, repairing what was worn, letting go of what no longer belongs. And maybe what you've been feeling. That tired skin, that slow mind, that sense that something's off, isn't a failure. It's a sign, a quiet knock, asking you to begin again, with warmth, with nourishment, with foods that don't fill, but free. Because healing after 60 isn't about chasing youth. It's about letting the oldest part of you remember how to clear space for something softer. And if you felt something move inside you today, even just a little, then maybe it's already begun. Your cells haven't forgotten. They're waiting. Not for more restriction, but for your quiet permission to release. Comment. Still here, still renewing. If today's video spoke to a part of you you didn't know needed remembering, or tell us, which of the 3 foods will you begin with? Your voice might be the reminder someone else needs today. Next time, we'll talk about one health drink that could be stealing your energy, especially after 65. It's not soda, and it might already be in your fridge. Share it in the comments.